Have you ever secretly wanted to write a book but don't know how? Have you ever wanted to pick a subject but weren't quite sure which ones would be right and other people could read them? I've wanted to write all my life, and I was stuck. I wanted to write when I was a little boy, but I didn't know how. And then I met a man who took me seriously, and he encouraged me to write, and he showed me some of his secrets about how to begin writing a book, and it changed my life. I'd like to be that kind of a person for some of you, if you'd like to write a book. I'm glad you've decided to come with us on this adventure. I want to talk to you about something that's very exciting to me. Inside, I've had a process that's been developing of how to write books, and it's saved me a lot of time, and it's very exciting to me. And I'm really glad to get to share this with you. As I said earlier, the only way I know today to begin writing is with some sort of a mentor. And so I want to do this and talk to you personally and individually at things you can do to actually begin writing your book. And then we'll have 8 sessions, 8 separate sessions, and we'll stop the tape sometimes, and you can stop the tape and begin to do these things. So even today, you're going to begin writing your book. And one of the amazing things about it is, you know, a friend once told me when I was stuck with this whole process, he said, "Keith, do something." He said, "Even God can't guide a stationary object." And of course, I think that's true, that what we've got to do is to learn how to be in movement, and then the Holy Spirit changes the whole project for us into something that's alive, and that's His job. So what I'm going to do is occasionally we'll stop and ask you, if you're watching this in a group, to begin to ask each other some questions. And at the end of each session, I will talk about some of the questions that have been raised about this material as we've gone through it. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is how to develop an idea into a working title and table of contents. And then we'll go on and talk about specific procedures for gathering material. In other words, I gathered material for years, and then I went to find it and couldn't find it. It was in a great big box. But how do you get this specifically tied into your project so that there's no waste involved? How do you decide who's your audience? Many people write books without even thinking about that. And of course, the people out there are wondering, who in the world is this written to? Because it's not written to them. And then the right way to begin writing and the right time. How do you know? Because a lot of us gather material till the end of the world, and we can't make ourselves start. The actual writing of the manuscript. What are some of the things you do to write a manuscript? The rewriting and rewriting, what makes a book come alive. People don't know it, but you know, they talk about 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration, but there's a lot of truth in that. There's a lot of discipline in this business. And if you're not interested in really working at it, it's probably the wrong course for you. But selling your book, even if you're the best thing in the world that you've written, God can use it in your life and the lives of maybe your family. But if you want this to be something that's read by other people, because what God does, He can take the message He's giving you and give it a life of its own. One of the joys to me about writing is that sometimes when I'm sleeping, I have the feeling that maybe God's using something that He's given to me to help somebody through the night. Selling your book is an important thing, but a lot of us Christians back off from that because we think it's not spiritual. Well, you know, we'll talk about that. Then working with a publisher. I mean, most of us are so excited if somebody wants to publish our book that we don't realize there's a lot of work to be done after that. And then I would like to talk to you at the last about what it means to me just to be a writer, because there's a lot of joy in this and a lot of pain, but it helps us to grow up. At least that's been my experience.